In this video, I'm going to share how I'm tweaking my time blocking system to balance it with my part-time job, my YouTube side hustle, the goals that I want to achieve, and my family commitments. Now, I've been time blocking for a while and I feel like I could be doing a better job in that I feel like I could have greater clarity around the things that I want to achieve. And I also feel like I could do a better job of fitting the things that I want to achieve in around the commitments that I already have. So I'm going to be looking at my time blocking system and seeing what things I can change or strategies I can use to help me improve how I actually use it in my real life. Now, I know that your situation is going to be different to mine. So it's not necessarily here's what to do, copy me. It's more I feel like there will be gems within what I'm sharing that you can transfer to your life situation. So I want you to use it as a way to inspire and motivate you on your own planning journey. So let's get into it. Now, I've got some pain points that I definitely want to tackle with this, and I've got a bullet point list here. So I feel busy, but not always productive. Can you relate to that? Like, I will look at my weekly spread and I can see that it is busy with stuff, but I don't necessarily feel like I've been productive at the end of the week. Now, this isn't a pain point that I want to tackle, but it's definitely something that I want to keep in mind because it could easily become a pain point. And that is that I want flexibility and white space, so I obviously don't burn out. The point of this isn't to eke every last ounce of life out of my days. I'm not a robot. I can't be some sort of productive machine that can just keep going. I have to honour that energy levels fluctuate and that I need downtime in my day as well to just be and relax and chill. And then the third pain point that I want to tackle is that I'd like to track a goal and actually see progress. And I think this ties back into my first point where I feel busy but not necessarily productive. And I think that that's because I'm not really doing a concerted effort of logging and tracking a goal, and I don't want to sap the life out of it to we'll get onto that. I've done a little bit of research and I've come up with 4 key strategies that I'm going to use to help me time block my days better and feel more productive. So the number 1 strategy, or the first strategy, is theming, and I've got my bullet point list here so I remember everything. It's theming my days for better focus. Now, this technically should work because when you're task switching, you can use up a lot of bandwidth. Now, if you're task switching between manual tasks, so if I'm emptying the dishwasher and then I'm going to hang out some laundry, to me, there's not a debt that I have to pay off in terms of mental bandwidth because it's manual work. I just do the thing. But if you're in the knowledge work arena, then task switching can cause a huge deficit in your cognitive abilities. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but I definitely know that if I go from, say, designing an insert and I'm in that zone and I'm in that creative mindset of thinking about layouts, I'm in InDesign, I'm creating something, and then all of a sudden I want to switch to writing a YouTube script outline, that's going to take me a while to sort of switch gears into now thinking in a creative writing way and a research way of what can I talk about. And then if I was to switch back to doing the insert, again, it's going to take me time to get up to speed to be where I was before in terms of creating that layout. So I definitely like the idea of theming days in that you do one certain knowledge work task on one particular day. However, I'm resistant to this idea because I have a part-time job, and my concern is that it takes a big chunk of my day, and there's a chance that if for whatever reason something happens after work, I can't work on a particular task when I come home. Maybe there's family commitments, there's a parents' evening that I've got to go to, or a piano exam for my middle child, or whatever it might be. My concern is that that will have a knock-on effect to the themed days, so I'll always be trying trying to catch up if I didn't complete a certain task on, say, my Monday theme day. I hope you're tracking with me there. So I'm not sure about that. I've got a little tweak that I'm going to make to that idea, but I think that can be definitely a good way of working if you've got more autonomy over how you spend the lion's share of your day, like your prime hours of your day. For me, it's not going to work. But if I wasn't at my part-time job and I had my time between the school runs all to myself, then I would definitely theme my days. The next key strategy that I'm going to look at using is prioritization using the one thing method. Now, this kind of ties into the goal that I want to work on, because when you prioritize one thing, you're going to filter out all of the busy work. Now, I am multi-passionate. I could work on a gazillion different things at the same time, or at least want to work on a gazillion different things. However, I don't necessarily have the bandwidth to do that, the energy or the time, and I can quickly burn myself out or feel like I'm not achieving the things that I could be achieving. So I'm going to use the one thing method to just focus on one thing that I want to improve over this period of improving my time blocking system to achieve a goal. Now, there was a video that I watched recently by Ali Abdul where he was talking about the triage method. And in the hospital, say in A&E, when you have patients coming in, and if you've ever been in an A&E, especially here in the UK, I can attest that sometimes you will sit there and you will literally be sat there for hours, and you will see people that have come in after you get seen before you. Now, this isn't because they've winked at the nurse or given a special handshake. This is purely because their needs are greater. They have more important urgency that needs to be dealt with. And this is where this kind of prioritization idea comes from, in that I'm going to work on the one thing that I feel is the most important and the most urgent in terms of the goals that I want to achieve. So I hope that again is making sense. I've created a little playlist actually, because on my next point, I've got another video that inspired me. So I will share a link to a playlist at the end of this, or in the description. So key strategy number 3 is breaking my goal down, but before you wave your fist at me, not into smaller chunks, although yes, it is into smaller chunks, but into a progress bar. Now, smaller milestones make a goal feel less overwhelming. And like, we all know this, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And it's the same with your goals. You have to break them down into smaller milestones. But here's the thing, that still feels a bit boring, if I'm honest. So I was watching a video by Rachel in Theory recently, and that video will be in the little playlist that I'll pop in the description. And I thought that this thing that she was doing was such a great idea, because she was talking about using a progress bar. Now, what I love about the progress bar is it's almost like you're gamifying your goal. So I've going to take my goal, I'm going to break it down into a progress bar, and I'm going to fill the progress bar up as I go. And yeah, you could just say, Chloe, that's pretty much just a habit tracker. You're just ticking things off. But by gamifying it and making it look and feel like a progress bar, it just feels a bit more like I'm on this fun mission, this quest that I want to complete. So I'm hoping that the progress bar will give me this sense of momentum and motivation to keep going. So yes, that's my key strategy number 3. And then key strategy number 4 is check in, I have white space and flexibility. And why this works? Well, it reduces the burnout from hyperproductivity, planning every last minute of your day. You're not a robot. As I said in the beginning, I'm not a robot. If I plan too much and then something happens and I have to take a break or I have to do something different, my whole schedule goes out the window. So when you've got a very rigid system that doesn't allow for any wiggle room around things, it is really easy to burn yourself out or get yourself into a tailspin when life happens and it throws you a curveball, and you've got this rigid system that doesn't allow for that flexibility. So yes, I want to create a system that is going to be sustainable for the long term. So having that white space and flexibility, I feel, is key for me. So that's the talking head part of the video. I'm going to switch to screen sharing. Oh my goodness. I'm going to switch to laptop Chloe and show you how I've broken all of this down to make it happen in my planner. Welcome to Laptop Chloe. Now, this is where I'm going to share how I started to map out my goal. I've got my notes here so I don't go off task too much. Right, let's just start here. So the first thing that I needed to do was decide on my one thing. As I said, I am multi-passionate. I have a gazillion ideas. I feel unproductive because I'm not achieving something on all of my ideas. So I've got all of these open loops created in my head, and this is where I need to shut off all of the options and now just focus on one thing. I've kind of explored different things, but I know that for the next 6 weeks, ideally, maybe 12 weeks, but definitely for the next 6 weeks, I want to focus on a weekly cadence of creating content. That is going to be my one thing. And what I've actually decided to call it is a content package. So each week I want to publish one content package. And that's because for the last 4 weeks, I've accidentally fallen into this workflow of recording a video, exporting the video to upload it to YouTube. But then I had this brainwave of, why don't I export the transcript and feed that into AI and get AI to help me shortcut some of the legwork around uploading a video, in terms of coming up with a title, a description, making suggestions for the thumbnail text, and turning it into an article, like outlining a concise article for my Substack based on the words that I've already said in a video that I've recorded, which is based on a script that I've already just done a few bullet points of stuff that I wanted to talk about. So I feel like I'm really taking one idea, doing the work once, and then killing two birds with one stone by turning that video into an article, and then also using AI to help me craft my title, my SEO description, my SEO slug. So all of the other bits and pieces that actually, do I need to sit down and think about all of these things? Again, like, the creative work has been done. It's the other little niggly things that are easy to forget that I just need a bit of help with. So I found myself getting into this little workflow. And what I decided to do was call it a content package, because essentially that's what I'm doing. I'm creating this package of content every week with the help of AI. So that is going to be my one thing focus for the next 6 weeks. Now that I've got that covered, my next thing was to map out that one thing into the milestones. And this is where I've decided to use Notion. So as you can see, my content package, mini milestones to get to the end point of my goal of having that content package, are listed out here. And the reason I chose to do it in Notion is purely because it's easy to just reorder things or add things in as I think of them. Like, I can just move things around quite quickly if I'm thinking, oh, actually, that's not the right order in which I do things. So I sat down and I thought about all of the steps that I'm doing when I'm doing this content package work, and listing them out in a way where I can see them as these checkpoints. But the thing is, when I looked at this list, it felt like laborious, grueling work that I didn't really want to do. And also 15 things seems like such a lot to try and squeeze into my week. But as I was looking at this, I was actually inspired by the themed days approach, because I thought, well, actually, I can see how these items can be themed into session blocks of similar work. So I'm not necessarily doing one session block with coming up with a content idea and then a separate session block for to bullet point in the main focus points. Actually, I'm sitting down and I'm doing these blocks of work in one session. So this is where I decided to group them with the colours. Again, another handy thing about using Notion. I'm sure you can do this with plenty of other things, but I just chose to do it in Notion because I love the drag and drop capabilities and the way that you can color things. And plus I have AI on my Notion, so I can also get AI to help make suggestions and improvements. Once I looked at it and grouped it into these session blocks and color coded them, I actually realized that when I'm doing these session blocks, they're actually taking me around 60 to 90 minutes to complete. Now, that feels a lot more doable, especially when I look at this list and I can see that I have these 6 different session blocks of work, these checkpoints that I've got to go through. Well, actually, we're now looking at 6 to maybe 9 hours max per week of work that I need to do to create this content package. Each of these little 6 blocks is just an hour. I'm sure I can find just an hour throughout or 6 times just an hour throughout my week to complete this work. So it just made it feel a lot more doable, a lot more achievable, and a little bit more fun because, color coding is cute and everything. So the next thing was I needed to think about, okay, how am I actually going to turn this into something that I can put into my planner that becomes a tangible thing? I don't necessarily want to be completely tied to a laptop. I also want to have this Gamify kind of feeling. So this is when I went into Canva. I'm using Canva purely because it's quick and easy. It's not the most aesthetic thing that I've come up with at the moment, but I just wanted it to be something that I can quickly create and print out and get going. Like, I can worry about the aesthetics of it later on. I need a proof of concept, as it were, first. So this is where I decided to work with my page flags again. And I've introduced these cute little icons and the color coding just so that it feels a little bit more fun when I actually place it in my planner. And I will be doing a flat lay in a moment so that you can see how this looks in my planner. So here you can see my 6 session blocks designed as these page flags, task tab situation. We've got the session block of doing an idea deep work session. We've got the record a video session. We've got the edit and export session, the upload to YouTube session, the craft article session, and the analyze performance session. And obviously each of those has all of their little mini micro checkpoints within them. Like, it's not just upload a video to YouTube. I'm actually using AI to help craft the title, come up with the description, or at least give me ideas and suggestions, which I usually have to tweak. Very rarely have I just straight up gone with whatever AI's suggested, but I'm using AI to just cut out some of the legwork, just shortcut some of the repetitive things that I don't necessarily need to sit down and spend 2 hours thinking about a YouTube title. I can get AI to give me a bunch of suggestions, and then I can work with what I think is the best one and make tweaks. And it just makes it so much easier. So once I got my task tabs designed, I then needed this other little system for reminding me of my different checkpoints. Remember, I didn't want to go or have to rely on going to a screen to see everything. Yes, my work does involve using a laptop, so it would have been quite easy to just open up Notion as I was recording a video or what have you, or editing a video. But actually, I wanted something within my planner that just reminds me of these different checkpoints, especially if I'm doing a deep work session, coming up with ideas like brainstorming a content idea with a solid hook and a working title and a thumbnail idea. I don't necessarily want to have to open up a laptop. Sometimes, I haven't got it with me right now, but sometimes I'm just out and about with my little A6 notebook and pen and just writing things down. So actually having this little A6 size card felt a lot more portable and fun. And as you can see, I've grouped the 15 checkpoints into these color coded session blocks with the icons that I'm using on my page flags. And then the last thing that I needed to do was create my progress bar. Remember, I'm gamifying the whole system. So I decided that a quick and dirty table in Canva would be the best approach, where I could have my checkpoints going across the x-axis of the table so that they're represented as columns, and then my videos are represented in the rows down the y-axis, so that each time I do the checkpoints for a video, I can colour it in with my mild liner. I've also given myself a reward so that I'm reminded each time I'm filling this in of what I'm working towards, which is a week off. Yay! Before I rinse and repeat, and probably redesign this, because I'm already, like, now that I've printed it out and put it in my planner, I've already thought of ideas of how I want to improve it and make it a better tip in that I can add into my planner. And I've also decided that I'm going to treat myself to something for my planner or journal, whether it be a pen for my planner, although I'm kind of happy with my pen. It might be something more journal related. I've got my eye on the Twisby. It's the cream coffee, rose gold cream coffee. I can't remember, but I've got it bookmarked in my Cult Pens basket at the moment. It just looks really gorgeous, and I want to see what that pen writes like. And I've also got my eye on some journaling sticker packs as well that I'd quite like to try out for my gratitude journal. So I'm thinking probably a couple of little treats for my gratitude journal. Depends, because the pen I think is about £50. Anyway, I'm rambling. So here we can see I've got an area for notes. I thought maybe it might be good to have a space for notes, but when you actually see how I've implemented it into my planner, actually I'm using it as a docking station for my page flags. So let's go to flat lay, Chloe. Here we are in my planner as the light is beginning to fade, and I'm just going to quickly show you how all of that work has turned out. So I've got my, and this is where I already know I want to change how these look, but I've got my progress bar that I've already started to fill in. I've done 2 videos already, and this will be video number 3. So I actually need to colour in, got to colour in some of this. So I've already done the idea for this. I've outlined the script. I've started recording the video. I'm still in the process, so I won't fill that one in yet. And then, as you can see, I've got my little page flags down here. These are just the labels that I created in Canva, printed onto transparent vinyl sticker sheets, and then I've trimmed them down to size and stuck them onto page flags, just so that it's easy to stick them into my diary, or onto my weekly schedule, which I'll show you in a moment. And then this was a bit of a fail. I don't know why I had this idea of doing it on, printing it on the transparent vinyl sticker sheet and then sticking it onto some acetate. That's just, yeah, and already I'm not loving this A size 6, although it would fit nicely into my little A6 size notebook that I carry around with me. But yeah, anyway, the second iteration, I know the improvements that I want to make. And then in terms of fitting this into my week, I can now, so I've already done the deep work idea. I've been recording the video today and this afternoon. I'm not sure I'll get on to editing the video, but these were my original page flags that I'd created. But yeah, I'm changing things up a little bit, so I might be able to get on to edit and export. And then I just need to think about when am I going to upload the video. I can look at my schedule and think, okay, when can I do that? So it might be that I'll have to do that tomorrow. And that's another little page flag that's going to be replaced. So then I can think about, okay, when am I going to craft the article? I know I definitely won't get to do it then, so that might have to be on Thursday. I can probably do that before I go to work. And then I'll want to upload the, oh, why have I put upload to, oh, I'm not doing it in order. Oh yes, I am doing it in order. Anyway, you don't need to see all of this. The basic idea is presented. You can see how I've executed it. You can see my thought process into thinking about how am I going to fit these into my week. I'm changing my system a little bit so that before, these work page flags that I'd used, the sort of very pale grey colour, I've now replaced these with my session block page flags, and I can look at how I'm going to fit these into my week. So this is how I am upgrading my whole time blocking system and working it towards a goal that I want to complete, my one thing goal for the next 6 weeks, and how I've gamified it and made it hopefully feel like I'm actually working towards something and being productive, because I can see it here. I can see how productive I've been. Actually, looking at this, I need to have a date when I complete these. I'm not logging when it was started and when it was completed. So that's another little upgrade that I'm going to make to this. Anyway, this video has ended up way too long. So do comment below if you've got any little ideas that you want to add. Remember, I'm not telling you that you should exactly copy what I'm doing or just discounting this because you're not trying to do YouTube videos and articles every week. I want this to be something that can inspire and motivate you to think about, okay, how can I take what she's doing and transfer it to my life situation? So I do hope that this has inspired you and given you some ideas. And if you want any help with that, then just comment below. I'm not quite sure how that would work, but yeah, this will be interesting. I shall catch you in the next one, which should be appearing maybe here. YouTube seems to think that this will be a good next video, so I'll catch you there. Bye for now, plan a friend. Bye.